Let's do Norse mythology, Utgardaloki, part 2.
My name is not Sven, it is Martin, yeah.
Thor, Loki and the servants Skjalve and Röskva was to be challenged by the giants. Loki was hungry and claimed that nobody could eat as fast as him, and he was to compete against Loki, and they both started at one end of a meat and they both got to the middle at the same time, but Loki had also eaten the bones of the meat and he was considered the winner. Skjalve said that he could outrun most people. He was to compete against Huge, and they raced 3 times and he stood no chance. Thor was thirsty and he claimed that nobody can drink as much as him, so Utgardaloki called for a horn to be brought in, and he said that a real man can finish this in 1 try. Anyone in this hall can finish it at least in 3. So Thor started drinking until he almost lost his breath, but he saw that the liquid had only sunk very little. He tried again and again, but he saw that it had made very little difference. He put the horn down and complained that the liquid was too salty. "My men," said Utgardaloki, "often play with my cat, and if you think you're strong enough, you should try and lift the cat." Thor tried to lift it, but he only got 1 paw to actually leave the ground. "It's a pretty big cat," said Utgardaloki. Thor then wanted to wrestle, but nobody in the hall was interested, so Utgardaloki called for his foster mom, Elle, to come and try to wrestle. Thor was humiliated and decided that this was going to be a quick game. But as hard as he tried, he just couldn't move her, and when she managed to get one of his knees down on the floor, the match was over. The next day, Utgardaloki followed them outside the castle, and he said, "Since we are now outside, I can tell you the truth. I have been using sorcery in these matches. It was me you met in the woods in the shape of Skrymo, and the reason you couldn't get your provisions up is because it was tied with magic ropes. You hit me 3 times with your hammer. The first one almost killed me. The second and third time I put a rock in between, which you didn't see." Loki then competed against Loki, but what you didn't know is that Loki is fire, and fire burns through the bones. When Skjalve ran against Huge, he was actually running against my thoughts, and who can ever outrun the mind? You drank from the horn, but what you didn't know is that the end of the horn was actually in the ocean, and when you arrive at the beach, you'll actually see how much you drank. The cat you lifted was not a cat, but in fact the Midgårdsormen, Jörmungan, which surrounds the entire world. We were quite worried when you managed to get one of the paws up. The old lady that you wrestled with was not an old lady, it was aging itself, and nobody can defeat aging. Utgardaloki said, "We will now depart, and I hope I will not see you here again." Thor was furious and he swung his hammer, but Utgardaloki was gone, and so was the castle. The 4 companions journeyed home. And that was the end of the 2-part story about Thor, Loki traveling to Utgard and challenging Utgardaloki and his men. The giveaway for the new month of February is the very classic Dala horse, Dala hest. Look at that Dala hest. Look at that Dala hest. And this Dala hest can be yours. All you have to do is tweet any of my Norse mythology or 10 Swedish words videos out. Remember to include @PrinceWord, my Twitter handle, but not in the beginning of the tweet. And at the end of February, beginning of March, I will let you know who won the Dala hest. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to check the playlist for all the other Norse mythology and 10 Swedish words videos, and I also post weekly vlogs on Monday evenings, and I do live streams on Thursday evenings. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you the next time you click on one of my videos. Bye.